well, I don't know how well I explained that at all. Yeah, hello team, my name's Monique. Welcome back to the Cauldron, where we today are going to talk through some of my most surprising reads of 2020. In case you didn't know, this is Bookwitch Reviews on my channel, and because I did a most disappointing reads of 2020, I also thought I should do my most surprising reads. Though the majority of my channel is about positivity and about books that I love, most of the books that I love, I can tell that I will love them, and some books somehow still sneak up on me and like just bore its way into my soul. And these 5 books are all surprising reads that I read in 2020, plus one that I think should come to no surprise and yet still surprised me. So let's just start. The first book is Chosen Ones by Veronica Roth, which I read as an e-arc before its release. Veronica Roth wrote the Divergent series, which I never really got as into as I did the Hunger Games, because when YA dystopia was like at its peak, you were either a Hunger Games person or Divergent person, and I was a full-fledged Hunger Games fan. But The Chosen Ones is a book that I was like, this could be really good, or this could end up in flames, like seriously Taylor Swift song-ish. But basically, The Chosen Ones follow a group of teenagers who are now no longer teenagers, who were sort of thought of as the ones who were going to help save the world. So this book is set in an almost dystopia. However, there is quite a twist early on in the book where we are sort of moved setting. It is a mixed media novel. It's one of those books that just, I read it and then I had to think about it a lot, about how I felt about it. I also have a review for it, which I will leave a link to down below. But basically, Chosen Ones sort of gave me everything that I wanted. Like, there was a Tumblr post many moons ago where it was like, I want to read the book about after the war is ended, after the Dark Lord has been sort of sent into the ether. Like, what happens then? Do they have PTSD? Like, how do they cope with the fact that they have been responsible for the entire world? And it was just, it had its issues. I believe I gave it 4 stars. There was a little bit of romance that I was like, don't know if I need that. But overall, this book like blew me out of the water. And I believe that there will be a second book, which I'm very excited about reading. The next book is one that I had only heard briefly sort of spoken about. And I thought I might enjoy it because it is queer, it is political fantasy. And it is The Queen of Coin and Whispers by Helen Corcoran, which is this wonderful like espionage adventure. We are following 2 separate points of view. We are following a young heiress who is sort of finally getting to take the throne of this bankrupt kingdom that her uncle has all but pushed into the mud. And then we are also following a young nobleswoman who becomes her sort of spy master. But she does this so that she can figure out how her father died, and they end up having this longing, like slow burn almost relationship. And it's just like, I remember literally sitting there gasping and being like, the clavicle, the touch, the tiny touch. And I haven't felt like that about a book in a long time. This book also doesn't really have any magic. There is no like fantastical elements in that way, but it is heavy on the political intrigue. It is heavy on the like secrets and funky stuff. And also a best friend whom I love, and I wish that Matthias had his own book. This is so good. But this book, the reason why it surprised me is because it brought up these like romance feelings in me that I haven't like really explored in a long time. And I literally just desperately want more people to read this book and talk about it. This is an arc that my friend Jack sent to me. I will also at one point get a final copy because I love this book and I want to support her because she's writing a possible 3 Musketeer queer thing and I need it. The next book on this list of surprising reads is one that I thought that I might enjoy because a lot of people had spoken about it. However, I was not prepared for the all-consuming sort of obsession that I got of this book, and it is Dread Nation by Justina Ireland. This is currently a duology with the second book called Walk. The second book called The Deathless Divide. I am hoping that there will be more books in this series because I will literally follow Jane McGee nowhere, everywhere, all the places. This is a book set slightly after the American Civil War. However, America is not what America was, because the dead started walking during the Civil War, and now though the black generation has been set free, the young black women are all brought into this like Miss Preston School of Combat for Negro girls, so that they are all sort of trained in protecting these white dominant families and their daughters. And we are following Jane, who is a bisexual Wonder Woman, who is basically, all she's trying to do is return to her mother to find out what is happening with the farm that she grew up on. And it's just so funny. It's just so good. Like, it has banter, it has queerness, it has own voices, representation, and it has Jane, who I love more than anything. The second book especially also deals with one of Jane's like becoming friends people, who is asexual and a stunner, and I love her, and I love both of them, and I really want more books in this series. The next book on this list is one that I bought purely because of its cover, and then I sort of vaguely found out that I might have read something before from this author. However, I ended up becoming slightly obsessed with it, and it is Tess of the Road by Rachel Hartman. Rachel Hartman also wrote Seraphina, which is a sort of weird dragon book that I read many moons ago and then got rid of, and then I had to re-buy them, because when I read this I was like, I must read it all again. Tess of the Road follows the half-sister of Seraphina, and it is in this sort of fantasy inspired by medieval times in England, or like at least like nobility in England, and we have like humanity, and then we have dragons, and then we have these other creatures that are in between dragons and humans called the Quigley. And basically Tess has always wanted to do more, but now she is sort of just trying to get her little sister married so that she can have a good family. Her family is falling into like debt, and many things are going wrong. So Tess also has like a secret going back to before this book started. It is about growing up, it is about love and family and finding yourself. And because of, at one point she gets asked to do something she does not want to do, she then runs away and she just starts walking, and it is just this wonderful weird adventure of her just moving along. And it's such a weird book, and I really love it, and I'm surprised by it, even if the cover is literally everything that I want, because there's not actually dragons in here, but I want there to be dragons. I'm also still hoping for a second book, because it says Tess of the Road 1 on Goodreads, and I want another one. Last on this list is a book that I love with my whole heart. However, I thought that I might just like it. Like, I thought I would enjoy it and that would be it. That is not it. This is The Scrapegracers by Abigail Clarke, which is a magical realism teenage coven gritty novel that gives me everything that I have ever wanted and needed, and never knew that if I just said it, it would come to me. This is the first book in the Scrapegracers series. The second book, The Scratch Daughters, comes out later this year, and I will die for it. Later this year, as in like November, I think. I'm literally so extremely pumped. In this book we follow a young teenage witch called Sideways Pike, who is sort of like a loner, and she gets hired to do this prank at a Halloween party for the 3 most popular girls in school, and somehow this prank turns into a friendship that turns into a coven that turns into something more sinister. There are these weird signs happening in the back. Sideways is also a lesbian, and they are trying to find her girlfriend, so it's this weird humor and like mean teenage girls and boys who they curse, and I love everything about this book, and I want more people to talk about it, and I am extremely obsessed with it. I read it, I think, within 24 hours last year. It is in my top 10 of the year, and I desperately want to read it again and like notarize it and just love it forever. And I will die for The Scratch Daughters. Please, someone give me an arc. Like, I'll die for it. It's so good. And then I know that we've had 5 books, but I just thought that I needed to explain the fact that I'm not really surprised by it. I'm just surprised by the fact that I'm so stupid that I didn't pick it up before. And obviously, this is the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin, which is critically acclaimed. Everyone loves this book. I don't think I've ever heard anyone who's read it who didn't love it. It is a high adult fantasy book in a world that has this 5th season, which is basically like a disaster season that can like go up to like decades. It can be a year long, it can be months long, and basically the world turns on its people. There's like toxic gas and earthquakes, and the people in this world have learned to live with it by the creed of you have to take care of yourself. And they do this by sort of pushing these almost like earthbenders. I want to call them earthbenders, and that's not what they are, but basically there is a breed of humans that have these connections to the earth so that they can actually control the earth and control these earthquakes, which you would think then makes them like popular in a world where the earth is trying to kill people. But no, they get ostracized, they get used, they get killed and stoned. And basically we are following 3 different characters. We are following a mother who is searching for her daughter after her husband killed their young son. We are following a young student on the precipice of becoming her own, and then we are following a young girl who is only just setting out on her journey. And these 3 characters tie together in the most wonderful way. I haven't read the rest of the series yet, and I feel like I will die before I get to, but this is a book, it's not so much a surprise as much as it's I wish that I'd picked it up before. And then I also want to slap myself a little bit for it, because I will have to pick up everything N.K. Jemisin from forever now. Those are words and they fit together. So this is my little stack of most surprising reads of 2020. I read a lot of really good books in 2020, and there are obviously some more that surprised me in the way of the fact that I really enjoyed them, even though I thought that I might just like them. There are also a couple that disappointed me, obviously, but these books all live rent-free in the back of my mind, and I love them so very, very much. And I can't, like, I'm so excited about all of the books that I'm going to read in 2021, and I'm excited about making more book videos. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button at the same time so you don't miss out on any other videos from me. You can also click the little bell, which will give you a notification when I put up a new video, which I do regularly. And then if you want to, leave me a comment down below. Tell me what book surprised you last year, or if you've read any of these. I would love to hear your opinions on them. And then remember that I am proud of you, you're doing great, and I will see you guys soon with another video.